The latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump must have listened to our 6:30 segment.
Yes.
And me chiding him for this unnecessary controversy of Rand Paul being invited to the White House picnic. He posted on Truth Social, of course Senator Rand Paul and his beautiful wife and family are invited to the big White House party tonight. He's the toughest vote in the history of the U.S. Senate, but why wouldn't he be? Besides, it gives me more time to get his vote on the great, big, beautiful bill, one of the greatest and most important pieces of legislation ever put before our senators and Congress, men and women. It will help to make America great again. I look forward to seeing Rand. The party will be great. All right, very good. Very good.
All is well in the world. Yeah, he listened to the show and then did an about face.
Maybe he put a phone call into Stephen Miller, said, re-invite Senator Paul, and let's not be petty.
Cool your heels.
All right.
Okay, good.
On other matters, RFK has made some news. RFK Jr., of course,
yeah.
HH Secretary, has made some news this week because he cleaned out a vaccine panel of Biden appointees. He's going to bring in his own people who he says will not be conflicted as some of the Biden appointees were in terms of their financial relationships with big pharma companies. So RFK Jr. Continuing to advance the flag for MAHA, which brings us to this new documentary I saw that has been released called Toxic Nation. From fluoride to seed oils, how we got here, who profits, and what you can do. Sort of 4 topic areas of what is making America sick and what the research says. That's the gist of the documentary. Jeff Hayes is the producer and director of Toxic Nation, and he joins us now. Jeff, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Well, let's start with the one that I think may be the most controversial, and that is fluoride in the water, and what you found by looking into the issue of fluoride in the water. American Dental Association says, prevents tooth decay, strengthens enamel, and you say what?
For all of my life, I knew better than to take health advice from a dentist.
Oh boy.
If I have a problem with my teeth, I go to the dentist.
Right.
And I have a great dentist, but it's not who I don't ask my dentist, hey, what supplements should I be taking? What are toxins that I should be avoiding? And it's astounding. My ex-father-in-law was a dentist, and he used silver amalgam fillings. And I remember asking him, what about the mercury in that? And he literally looked me in the eye and said, there's no mercury in this. At the same time, he had to put on gloves and when he took fillings out, had to put them in a toxic waste. Mm-hmm. So their training is in teeth, and their advice is good on that. Meanwhile, the studies show an overwhelming a meta review of all of the studies show a decrease in IQ when people are drinking fluoride. But to me, the bigger issue is this is a chemical that's being put in water, so people who drink a lot of water get a lot of it. People who don't drink a lot of water don't get a lot of it. Can you imagine if you took any medication and just said, well, let's just put it in the water? That's a way to get it into everybody.
Well, the state of Utah has taken it out of their water supply. And my dental hygienist told me that there's a tiny town in Ohio where they put too much fluoride in the water, and all their teeth became translucent, like a light gray color.
Yeah, this was, I remember I grew up in West Texas, and kids from Hereford, where there was a lot of natural fluoride in the water, had brown stains on their teeth, and their teeth were hard and they didn't get cavities, but they were not attractive teeth. But anybody who wants fluoride can have it. You can get toothpaste with it. It's hard to find a toothpaste without it. I use Tom's, which doesn't have fluoride in it. But it's not like we're outlawing fluoride. We're outlawing people not having a choice. And I live in Utah. I was here, and when they made that announcement, and Bobby flew in to congratulate, the state of Utah for being the first one to do this. I think drugging people without their permission, that's the issue for me, not whether you get fluoride or not.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure it's without their permission, at least in terms of a representative form of government. I think people know there's fluoride in the water, and you have elected officials making the decisions, as Utah elected officials are making different decisions.
You actually, very good point.
But I mean, just on the issue here. So you mentioned there's fluoride in the toothpaste, and that's not harmful, but fluoride in the water is harmful.
So first off, the fluoride that goes in the water is not the fluoride that is sodium fluoride. It's an industrial chemical that they're dumping in the water. It's literally a different chemical compound. And I'm sorry, I started off on that. What did you ask? Well,
just the fluoride in the toothpaste is okay. Fluoride in the water is potentially problematic, and I just wanted you to distill the difference.
Yeah, it's the same thing with glyphosate, where 99.9% of the glyphosate put on our crops does not go to their target, the weed. The rest of it goes on the ground and in the water supply and everywhere else. The same thing. If I want a fluoride treatment from my dentist, they'd put fluoride in a tray and put it in my mouth,
right,
and tell me, be sure and don't swallow, and have me hold it on there for 2 minutes. I don't need to put it in every cell of my body.
Okay. Let's move on to something else. I guess we were told, I mean, I don't know. I don't really pay that much attention to this stuff. I just basically drink vodka and eat eggs. But seed oils not good for us.
I thought they were good for us.
This is really despicable. The seed oils are probably the number one toxin that we're introducing in our body. The average American eats 40% of their daily calories are fat, and of those, 80% of those are seed oils. They're in everything. So literally, in an average American's diet, 30% of the calories they take in every day are seed oils. And these came about in the 1940s, and Procter & Gamble, finally created an alternative to lard or tallow. And we were told, don't use these old-fashioned smelly fats. Use these new plant oils or seed oils or vegetable oils. They go through this incredible process to make them where they can even be consumed. There's like 9 different processes they're taken through, and they're very, very unstable. They literally start oxygenating before they're put in the bottle. And when they oxygenate, they're very unstable chemicals. They have a horrible effect on your body. They're called polyunsaturated fatty acids, or PUFAs. And literally your body starts storing them, and your body has a hard time burning polyunsaturated fatty acids. So we have all these people covered in fat who are literally starving to death and craving sugar. And this was literally just about the money.
And this is what RFK Jr. was talking about when he applauded Steak and Shake, the Steak and Shake franchises, from moving to from seed oils to beef tallow for frying its French fries.
Yeah, these, our fat, the closer you get to food, the way God makes it, the better off you are. It's like instinctively we know that. And these industrial chemicals, our body doesn't recognize them. It doesn't know what to do with them. They cause inflammation. They're the source of so many health problems, and they're in everything. It's so hard to, like, any processed food has seed oils in it, and even calling them, these, they're now calling them plant oils. They used to call them vegetable oils.
Right.
If you remember, like, I grew up on margarine because my mom was told, don't breastfeed me. That was for poor people. She was told, don't use butter. That's bad. Science has given us, this healthier margarine that tastes like butter. We've all started to wake up that, wait a minute, margarine's not good. Butter's healthy.
And the and then this leads to the one I think that is the least controversial, and the one that RFK Jr. has spent perhaps most of his time talking about when he's on one of his MAHA riffs, and that's the ultra processed foods, which you were just referring to. That's the significant problem area in terms of America's diets, right? Diabetes, the incidence of diabetes and childhood related disease.
Well, I remember when the tobacco companies, the biggest merger at that time that had ever been done was when RJR, when Reynolds took over the cigarette company. They knew the cigarette business was about to decline, and they took over the food companies and became RJR Nabisco. And, that when the tobacco companies took over the food companies, this is when they took their addiction scientists that worked for them, and they kept working, and they literally have made our food addictive. And we see the evidence around it. If you look at pictures of people walking around on the street in New York in 1920, and everybody is impossibly slim,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at those same cities today, and people are huge.
Right. Well, in Europe, they have a lot of unprocessed foods because my friends that live there, they have to go to the store, if not every day, every other day, because there's no shelf life.
Yeah.
So do you think that will ever happen here in America? We can have that here?
Well, that's what people always talk about, that like pasta in Italy and bread in Italy. It's so
it's got
different
an expiration date
because it's
tomorrow.
not. Yeah, because it's not. Yeah, right. Exactly. You don't have the binding.
There's no
agent.
additives. So can we ever? Do you see a day in America when we can replicate that model?
I do, and it's going to take at least 10 years to make this conversion. I'm actually doing 4 MAHA films. The first one is Toxic Nation. The next one's on medicine. The next one after that is on food and agriculture. And the last one is on trauma and addiction. And I've done 130 interviews with the top experts in the world. And I have literally, just me, a filmmaker, so don't take advice from a dentist on your health. The same thing, don't take advice on health from a filmmaker. But I can tell you my observations.
Okay.
As food is the source of everything. When we get our food right, God designed our bodies to fix themselves, to be healthy. Bodies heal as long as they're not being poisoned, and we're poisoning ourselves, and you can look around it and see it and just know that it's true instinctively. We have to fix our food supply. And
by the way, Toxic Nation, your documentary that we've been discussing, this is endorsed by RFK Jr., yes?
I'm the only licensee of the MAHA brand. And so Bobby licensed me the MAHA brand he filed a trademark on to make these 4 films.
Okay. Jeff Hayes is the producer and director of Toxic Nation, From Fluoride to Seed Oils, How We Got Here, Who Profits, and What You Can Do. And people want to see Toxic Nation, the movie, Jeff, where do they go?
You can see it for free right now. We're not charging to see it. You just go to mahafilms.com.
Okay, mahafilms.com.
All right. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with the film.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
for having me.
Yep, thank you so much. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Whew, that shot was money, Lisa. Hey, speaking of, did you ever figure out what to do with your parents' old coin collection?
Not yet. I need a reputable dealer to appraise them. I have no clue what they're worth.
I just